Yesterday, me and my roommate played like for 5 hours with the new decks from BS60 and exclusively cards from BS60. I want to preface that it is exclusively decks made of cards from BS60, and that's it. So today, I wanted to take a minute to review every deck from the contract from BS60. So I thought it'd be really fun and give just my initial opinion on every deck. Plus, I need content, so this is content, I guess. Starting off with purple. Purple, its whole thing is it wants to mill a bunch of cards from its deck top to generate counters and fill up the trash, so that it can later on use a bunch of its big cards to summon guys out of the trash, right? And when those big, and you want to summon all your big guys out of the trash. There's also a whole bit about depleting cores from opposing spirits, and this whole idea of draining the cores off your opponent's spirits to kill them. So really, this deck is you want to mill and you want to kill. Pretty fun deck. Definitely I think it's like a solid. It requires a lot of setup. The only problem with this deck is it requires a lot of setup, but it can be kind of slow and it can get rushed down kind of fast. So I think it's definitely one of the more B tier decks in this set. Next up, we got green, the first deck I ever played. Green's whole bit is it has kind of two plans going on, and those are highlighted in your partner guy. It wants to not only ramp cores, but also kind of lock down your opponent's field by heavily exhausting spirits they control. So they have a lot of ways of going about this. They have a lot of cards that can either ramp you cores, or a lot of cards that can heavy exhaust your opponent's spirits and lock them out. There are also cards that can take those heavy exhausted spirits and toss them back into the bottom of the deck to board wipes things. And then you have a bunch of cards that also restand your spirits to kind of try to combo kill people. And then you got some spirits that'll restand themselves. It's multi-attack. This deck is very much about ramping up as many cores as you can to generate really big dudes, and then also lock your opponent's field down by heavy exhausting all their guys and then shipping them back to the bottom of the deck. One of the big problems with this deck is it doesn't have a lot of card draw, so you really get to a point where you're relying on your opening hand and your top decks to kind of keep the gas pumping. So this deck can break fairly easily, I've noticed, but a lot of the cards are pretty great on their own and pretty self-sustaining. So you don't have to worry about your bricks too much, but it's one thing to keep note of. You're not going to be drawing a lot of cards, so you really have to work with what you got. But if you can do that, this deck can really take over a game pretty fast. I'd say it's on par with purple. Solid B tier. Not as good as some of the other decks, but definitely very fun to play and can still it can still steal games. It's definitely not bad. It's not strictly worse, but I think some of the other decks are a bit better. Next up, we'll do probably my favorite deck, red. Really love red. Red wants to draw a bunch of cards and then also blow up your opponent's spirits. It has a lot of effects that destroy spirits based on how much BP they have, and a lot of effects that also draw you cards. So your game plan is to be blowing up your opponent's spirits, not letting them get a board state established until you can draw your combo kill pieces and kind of kill them in one turn, especially using this guy. This guy's insane. This dude, you play this guy, you can end the game right there. Honestly, I haven't really found a whole lot of shortcomings with this deck. I guess if you don't see your kill pieces, it can be kind of tricky to win. But really, this deck has so much pressure, and you can kind of just keep the gas pumping as long as it wants. So as long as you're not cheeks at the game, you're sitting in a pretty good spot. I think this is easily one of the best decks in the set, if not the best deck. This deck's a pretty tough contender, in my opinion. Probably my favorite. Also, the art is insane on half these cards. I really love these. Also, just because it's Daisuke, my boy. So we're interested in white, purple, and red. Not a bad choice. Speaking of white, well, actually, we'll go into white. White is a good deck if you like very defensive and interactive game plans. White's whole bit is you want to be playing a lot of bursts that you're going to activate on the opponent's turn to disrupt their strategy by whenever they either summon guys, whenever they reduce your life, you're going to flip these dudes up, summon them for free, and then you're going to bounce a bunch of your opponent's dudes either to their hand or ship them back to the bottom of their deck. So this deck is very disruptive. You also have a big dragon that has heavy armor that can't be interacted with very well. Um, your partner Stark is all about passively generating resources by taking up your counters and core one every turn without having to attack, and then has a once per game ability that you want to use to kind of end the game. It lets you activate a burst on your turn, and you can really use that to combo kill your opponent. To end the game with Stark, you really want to be playing out your big dudes that are going to be able to not only make your guys unblockable, but also generate extra symbols to do extra damage. So this deck is really about playing patiently and then waiting so you combo kill your opponent in one big turn. There's also a lot of magics that can just straight up just end your opponent's turn if played properly. So I think White's a pretty good deck. It can be tough. If you don't see your pieces of interaction, you can get run over really fast. So it is a little bit bricky. It needs to see some pretty specific cards, but if you see them, it's really easy to take over a game. I think this is definitely like, if red is S tier, this is definitely A tier. I would say green and purple are B tier right now, but this is definitely solid A. Next up, let's go into blue. Blue's a pretty fun deck. Blue feels like this very jack of all trades kind of deck, where it doesn't have a super unique game plan. It kind of does whatever it wants. The one thing it does though is it draws a lot of cards. Using your buddy, its whole bit is that it likes to draw a lot of cards, but also discard a lot of cards. So a lot of its effects are like draw 2, discard 2, right? Draw 3, discard 3. With your companion here, what he does is it makes it so you have to discard one less card. So he turns all of your draw effects into like a +1s, essentially. So you have things like Stream Draw, which goes from a draw 3, discard 2 to a draw 3, discard 1. And is also a removal in one spell. So this card is actually kind of insane. This deck likes to use a lot of Nexus effects to get its game plan rolling, either to generate counters or to make your guys hit harder. You have some contract spirits that'll let you put cores straight onto your nexuses pretty easily. Your burst lets you put cores onto your nexuses. There's a lot of core generation, and you kind of just want to build up your resources for the one big combo kill turn with your big guy Shark here. There's some removal. There's a lot of interaction. This deck, it's kind of a it's a jack of all trades. It's definitely a jack of all trades, master of none kind of plan. If you want to do a little bit of everything, this is definitely the deck for you. It is a little piece reliant. It requires a lot of setup because it draws a lot of cards, so it makes sense that its kill boards need a lot of setup and a lot of cards. So if you miss out on a lot of your draw power, it can be rough. Nice. This is definitely in the same vein as White, I think. It's definitely solid A tier like White. It can be easily overpowered. It's a little tricky to play. You really got to see like your exact pieces. But if you do, it's a very fun deck to pilot. I would definitely recommend it. Not S tier, but I'd say it's a solid A. It's same level as White, I would say. And then finally, I think one of the most fun decks I played was Yellow. I really enjoyed playing Yellow. So Yellow's whole bit is about flooding the field with spirits, playing a lot of spirits for free, playing magic for free, and setting up for this one massive combo kill turn. So you have your partner here, who allows you to start drawing cards and getting counters really fast, and also lets you summon spirits for free. You summon spirits with a cost equal to or less than your amount of counters. So the more counters you get, the bigger guys you can summon for free. You have a lot of nexuses that either deter your opponent from blowing up your dudes by giving you life, or you have some nexuses that give you cards whenever you summon guys. There's a lot of small dudes in here that, like, when they die, they give you life. So there's a lot of ways to, like, stay alive, to wait till you get your combo kill. And your main kill turn is going to be adventing your big girl. What she does when you advent her, you draw the bottom 4 cards of your deck, and then you just summon as many spirits from your hand for free as you want. And then when she attacks, you get to play a magic from your hand for free, and that magic is going to be Sanctified Light, which is an A-cost magic that says, as long as you have 6 or more counters, this effect is for the whole battle phase. Your opponent can't block, and they can't play cards from their hand that aren't yellow. So what this does is you're able to play her, fill your board with guys, play this for free, and make it so your opponent can't block, and play, you know, any flash effects or anything, and then just swing and kill them. This deck's really fun if you like just setting up for big combo kill turns. I think it's definitely on the same vein as red, for sure. This is definitely in contention for best deck in my opinion. This and red, I think, are the two best decks. So if there were two S tier decks, it'd be this and red. I need to play more. I only got to play one game of yellow and one game of red. But those games that I did play, these decks felt very strong. A lot of these decks are very threatening. These are definitely the most threatening decks out of all of them. They will kill you out of nowhere if you are not ready to stop them. So yeah, I'd say this definitely S tier, same level as red. If you guys like that, be sure to you can go check out the VOD on my Twitch. That'll link in the description if you want to, where I go into these decks a little more in depth and I explain a lot more cards in them and what they all do. This was just my initial review of all of the BS60 decks, because me and my buddy played for about 5 hours yesterday, so I didn't get to play all of them extensively, but we got to see enough of them that I was able to give a little bit of my first impressions on the decks, and then I think as we play more and we learn more, I'll be able to come back and like retroactively look at my takes now versus my takes then, and I think that'll be very interesting. But if you like this kind of Battle Spirits content, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay notified whenever I post new videos. Trying to figure out what kind of content to post while we wait for new Battle Spirits Saga news. That's the biggest hurdle right now, but I think just talking about JP Battle Spirits in general and just trying to get a feel for the game is a really nice plan and way to do that. So that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you either in the next video or hopefully on Twitch where I stream. No schedule yet, so be sure to follow. That way you can be notified whenever I go live, but I typically go live around 11 to noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to go check that out, please do. We have a lot of fun over there. We do a lot of Battle Spirits related stuff with my chat you can see here. It's a good time. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that being said, I will catch you in the next one.